Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today is Vlogoween Day 3. And for today, I thought we would look at a book. Now, my library isn't rich in bird anatomy books, but there is one online that looked a little bit intriguing, and Google Books had a preview. It has about, 30, 40 pages of a preview. So I'll screen capture those and throw those up as I look at it. I just wanted to see if this book could be an asset for artists, for people needing motivation, for creators, for maybe bird watchers who happen upon this video. This book is called How Birds Work, an illustrated guide to the wonders of form and function from bones to beak by Marianne Taylor. And this book was published in April of 2020, so it's not very old. It's 224 pages. Now let's look at the table of contents. So we have ancestors and evolution, the skeleton, the muscles, the nervous system, the senses. I don't believe the preview will let us get through all of this. Ooh, the circulatory system. That's awesome. But we are just going to look and see what it has, what's available. I will also link this preview if you want to see it at your own leisure and check back in. Next page, the respiratory system, the digestive system, the reproductive system, embryonic development, feathers and skin, pigmentation pattern and colors. Ooh, I love that. So this book may not be a guide to illustration so much as to just the working parts of the bird, like a scientific breakdown, which in itself could be very helpful. It may not be that for bird illustration, it's just one book that's the perfect book for you. It may be a series of books that you get recommended to the library that you check out, or some you buy gently used. However you choose to incorporate stuff like this into your life, whether you're on a limited budget or you're on a low buy or a no buy. So let's get into this. Oh, that's a lovely picture of an owl. And see, some of this might make really, really good reference photos or reference photo ideas. It's all in how you look and perceive these books. This is a really great penguin. Oh, that's really pretty. And woodpecker. I love the stripes on this woodpecker in contrast with the red band on top. So the black and white with red, that is very, very stunning. I would definitely pull out this idea and look for royalty-free photos of a bird like this, just because I really appreciate that coloring. And look at that wood of that tree. Love that texture. Okay, ancestors and evolution. So this is going to go into the history. Oh, we have a fossil. Wow, that's really pretty. If you like fossils like I like fossils, that's amazing. All right, let's look at ancestors and evolution. So they have sort of a tree here of birds. This is really interesting. Okay, theropods. So we're getting into dinosaurs. And they have the T-Rex and the bones of a T-Rex. There are some museums in the United States, that's where I live, that have, I think Sue is one of the big dinosaurs that you can go look at. Let's see. So now they have where they've been found. Okay, that's interesting. A velociraptor. Okay, so there's a velociraptor bone set. They're saying this is similar to birds. I get that. Four-limb feathers of this Archaeoplex. Archaeopteryx? That's another dinosaur fossil, leaving no doubt that this creature had flight-capable wings. Okay. Wasn't that what pteranodons and pterodactyls are too? Okay, signs of the modern bird. So here is an interesting illustration, which was probably done digitally. Okay. That looks like it's getting into dodo territory. And then here they have the height of some of these birds. Relative size of extinguished birds. So from left to right, we have the giant moa, the elephant bird. What is Dromonus? Oh, Colossus penguin, and a moa nalo. Wow. The beak on that one is incredible. Okay. And ancestors. So this is just a lot of history and bones. Here's some general. Okay, let's look at these. Ancestors and evolution. So they have swifts and swallows, and you can really see here the angle of the wings and how that varies even in birds of similar size, which I find incredibly fascinating. So for mid-sized like flight birds, songbirds, the wing shape can be so vastly different. That's really pretty. And here we have a penguin and a puffin. Or is that an auk? Okay. Interesting. Island endemism. Okay, so the flightless, this is the Tahaki of New Zealand. I apologize if I am pronouncing this incorrectly. I wanted to view this the first time with you guys, so there's going to be a lot of missaid words. Okay, so, oh gosh, that one's pretty. Okay, what is this? Extinct or endangered. The purple swampin remains relatively widespread. This would be a really fun one to draw. And I would pick a photo because, again, purple in nature. I would do something that highlights the back. I probably wouldn't do him in flight. Again, I would really want to see what that beak and that head looks like up close. I would have to figure out a photo for that. This is the flightless kakapo of New Zealand. There has been like documentaries and stuff about this one. This one's really cute. I drew this one earlier this year. Okay. What do we have here? A garden bird in the UK. Okay. Let's go to the next page. Okay, large ground finch seeding. Okay, cactus finch. I really love the portrait style of these. Woodpecker finch, green warbler finch. So between all the finches, it is a really small differentiation between beaks. They all have really dark eyes that are all that same sort of shape. And then they vary in color. So I'm not drawing anything today, obviously. If you want to follow along and draw some of the things I'm drawing for today's bird, I'm going to be drawing a strawberry finch, which is also called a red avadavat or a red munya. So strawberry finch, that's the bird I'm drawing today. Because I like red and I like polka dots. Okay, mutation and natural selection. This is definitely a book. While I appreciate the cell, that's great for biology students and stuff studying. I don't know how much of this is helpful for illustrators. Let's look at part 2 is the skeleton. That's page 28. So here is a great illustration. Flat illustrations of bird skeletons for anatomy purposes are difficult. Because if you're trying to capture a bird in flight, you need to see all of the bird. Like you need a 3D view, like something that you can look in and around. This is why I love sculpture books so much for portrait drawing, is because you see the face from all angles. You can see the sphericalness of the cranium and the mandible and all the different pieces. You see how they're actually shaped. So when you go to draw that, you know where to shade and highlight it. It can be very difficult from flat illustrations. So let's see, they have chameleon on the left. Wow, that's really pretty. And a cat, domestic cat on the right. Okay. If you get into dissection, you don't dissect cats till like organic chemistry and higher up biologies in college. That's where they do the larger animal dissection. Okay, let's see, skull. So here they have it all labeled. So if you wanted to do an illustration like more scientific for one of your Birdtober days, you could draw this bird and then label all the pieces, the humerus, the radius, the ulna, and then you get into the different digits that make up part of the wing that aren't really seen. And then you can understand how the feet work. But this is a very, okay, this is a typical flying bird. This isn't going to hold true for every single bird. So a hummingbird isn't shaped like this. A toucan isn't shaped like this. You're never going to find an emu shaped like this. So it's very, that one's very general, which is fine. You would just want to make sure that you label it as such, that this is a general flight bird, mid-sized. Okay, South America is home to about 40% of the world's parrot species. Oh, and they have such beautiful colors. I can't. Okay, so here's a skull. That's pretty cool, but I would definitely like to see the three-dimensional view of this. I see this skull from more angles. The nasal bone, the orbit. Okay, the brain case, mandible. Okay. There's the back. Okay. The cormorant demonstrates the flexibility of its upper bill tip. What is this? The prominent celertoic rings that surround the eye socket are formed of tiny, delicate bone plates. Okay. What bird is that? I want better labeling here. Let's see. Wing bones. Look at this. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Falcons make use. Oh, wow. Okay. So when you get into the large birds of prey, falcons, raptors, when you look at vultures, condors, just really huge, massive wingspans, some of that changes a bit. So let's look. So here they broke down a wing. If you want to draw a wing, and then they have labeled the feathers, rimages, outer vein, inner vein. So if you want to break down some wingspan, this is a really good thing to look at here. Okay, when a pale feathered bird such as a gull is backlit in flight, the radius and ulna bones in its wings are often clearly visible. That's really pretty. Okay, I like backlit birds. Okay, the bend of a flamingo's legs looks like we are looking at an ankle rather than a knee. Okay. Flamingos we know are pink because of the food they eat. So here they've broken down the digits, the fibula, the patella, the femur. If you've ever taken any anatomy classes or done figure drawing, a lot of times there's quizzes and tests on breaking down all the bones and stuff. Okay. Skeletal variation, the ostrich. Oh, the face for me is so expressive. And here we have a Hoatzin. I watercolored one of these in, what year was that? 2021 maybe? They're really pretty. Have wing claws, a leftover trait from the theropod dinosaur ancestors. By adulthood, the claws are lost. So that's really interesting. So another thing you could get into for Birdtober when analyzing things like this is drawing the baby bird versus the adult bird. If there are huge, some of them look like cotton balls that got stuck in the washing machine, and then they grow up to be these beautiful, stunning birds. So sometimes the babies, like here for the Hoatzin, has a different trait that gets lost. And that may be something you want to highlight if you want to get into the minutia of the claws of some interesting things and traits like that. It could be really, really fascinating. So we could do a couple baby birds if you want. That's a lot of fun. Okay. Trying to create fluff. Illustrate fluffy. The long, delicate hyoid bones of a woodpecker's skull. Okay. So, here's a picture of their bone. Marrow activity. Compact bone. Yeah. This one looks like a turkey at Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, that's horrible. Bone tissue generates cautiously throughout the lift. Okay, there's the x-ray. Let's get to the muscles. Ooh, look at that photo of the eagle. Wow. He's pretty, isn't he? What a pretty bird. That is a really great angle. Obviously, he's getting ready to land on something and he's twisting in the wind. Bird musculature. So that was the section on bones. If that wasn't enough bone information for anatomy, this book may not be enough because it's already moved on to muscles. So, and it was pretty general. Here's muscles of the neck, muscles of the tail. This can help with understanding where the curves are with the leg, the tissue for the bird wings, for the tops. It's going to help with some of that. Connectors. What do they have here? The massive muscles of an ostrich shin help power it along at 45 miles per hour or 70 kilometers per hour. Yeah, you can see that thigh muscle there really working. And then here's another one where we go to do feet. ostriches have really cool bird feet. Okay, muscles of the head and neck. So again, these are really great reference photos. This parrot photo is really, really cool. You could see the red eye very clearly, the eye shine, the nostril here. There's a little bit of tongue. That would be tricky with the shadow portion, but beautiful rich greens. Okay, so here's a skull. Yeah, it's pretty basic. In just that it's flat 2D. I mean, trying to figure out the shape of a bird head from something this flat, again, it's going to be difficult. So flight muscles. Ooh, look at this. Really pretty raptor. And then this is a really great example for picking and choosing which one you want to use as a reference photo if you're using that, or if you just want coloring and you want to see what the coloring looks like in full sun, the picture on the right, versus when the wings are brought up. The one on the left, there's definitely more shadow, so the colors look a darker, richer, sort of burnt umber. Like they look redder, like a deep red, like a brick, like an adobe, versus on the right hand side they look lighter because of the sun. So this is one of those where, depending on which reference photo you choose, again, this is a more advanced photo to pick, but assuming it would be royalty free or something, think about the different colors and what you want to convey, because the photo on the left, the head is in shadow, and the photo on the right, it's not. So what is important? Is it the motion? Is it the movement? I mean, look how those legs are jutted out on the left. Do you really want to highlight the strength of a bird of prey? So we've gotten to the end of the preview, and I just wanted to look at this book a little bit. It's only just a couple sections, but I think it's given me enough to see that for artists and illustrators, it's a really great general overview. It doesn't delve too deep into too many like specificness of all the different, there's so many different birds and they come in so many different shapes and sizes that you kind of have to pick and choose where to start, where to end. I do appreciate the quality of these photos, and I love the depth of history and evolution. I think that's important to note. It would be fun for one day of Birdtober to include a dinosaur. But again, like here's a really great feather reference photo, how it starts real smooth and then it gets into that sort of downy, real soft bits at the end. And how the color goes from like a moss, and it goes really dark pine green into some of the lighter greens, and then it goes into browns. It's a really pretty photo. I don't know that this book would be enough. How birds work. I don't think it's enough for just trying to learn anatomy. Again, we will look at more books this month. I'm going to try and do one a month. I have one on hold at our library. That's it's a monster of a beast. And I'm on a low buy, so I'm not buying anything for Vlogoween. And I apologize for that, but I got to stick to what I say I'm doing. So I hope you enjoyed this brief preview. Again, I will link it if you want to look through it at your own leisure. It's like the first 50 pages. It's very beautiful. You might get some ideas of some other birds that you might want to add to your list to draw for this month. And it's a great introduction to some anatomy parts. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.